This is a very exciting video, so finally we get another TC by Team Associated. It's been a long time since Team Associated has had a TC. Now by a long time, over a year, over 2 years. It's actually been quite a while. Now, many of you probably remember the Apex. Now, this is the Apex 2, and the Apex 2 is now coming out with a Hoonigan body, which is an amazing Ford. This is an officially licensed body, and it has the little mock turbos here to simulate the actual turbos from a Hoonigan truck. And this really does look amazing. You can fit 200mm bodies as well. The body posts are adjustable, and this truck is actually coming out very soon. And yes, it's a TC, so it's a chassis, it's a car, but it has a truck body and it looks the part. This thing just looks amazing. Even if you turn it into a shelf queen, which hopefully you drive it, it's an amazing looking truck. And don't be afraid to drive it. You know, the scratches and dents will just give it character. Beautiful thing about this truck is it's expected mid-February 2022, and I know this thanks to my buddy Rod. Do follow him at Rod's Reels RCs. He has some really cool reels that he shows up. But according to Team Associated, it's en route now, and mid-February it should be available. So that's the release date according to Team Associated, mid-February, for this amazing looking Team Associated TC with a Hoonigan truck body, Ford body. So for all of you classic Ford truck guys, or anybody that just loves good looking trucks, this is one that is worth waiting. It's just a few weeks. But look at the detail of the body. It even has the flared out fenders out here with the detail. Now, the chassis is a little different than the regular Apex, if you remember, but it does have similarities to some other TCs that maybe you've noticed. And part of it, if you look at the suspension arms, so it does have an upper suspension arm, which I actually like for an RTR. This is very good. The Team Associated tends to produce very light vehicles for RTRs, and it just based on the color, it looks like they're using the same fiber blends that they've used on different models. The last Associated vehicle that I had was a TC3, which was great. It was a fabulous, lightweight, battery ran on the side. This one here, what I like about it actually is it has the shorty box, mainly because I have shorty batteries, so I don't have to worry about adding massive foams to it. It does come with a brushed motor. This is a 15 turn and a Reedy ESC. Now the Reedy ESC is an SC500X, which is very good for an RTR. Keep in mind it's an RTR. Are there better things? Of course, you can upgrade it later to something better, but for an RTR, this is a great ESC to go with. Motor, again, this is a sports 550. It's a 15 turn motor, 3-slot, Reedy power, as they say there, Reedy power. Now, it is a 15 turn, but it is an associated motor. So if I were to compare it, for example, with a Traxxas Fortec 2.0, I'm going to guess they're going to be about the same speed. Yes, the Traxxas 2.0 does have a Titan 12 turn motor, so it has less turns, but even though this one has higher turns, I expect the chassis to be lighter, but I could be wrong. As soon as I can get my hands on one of these, I'll do some weight comparisons later on. But here we have the suspension. Now the front and rear, you'll notice the upper suspension arm. I actually do like these on RTRs, and the reason why is sometimes you will only get a little turnbuckle here and you'll crash, you'll be bashing, right? Hit something, stone, whatever it is, and it'll pop off. This one, we have an actual screw that holds everything in place. I do like these mock discs with the mock calipers. Now the mock caliper, to be honest, the Fortec does look better. Those do look better than these, but it still adds a cool look. And keep in mind, once it's running, you're probably not really going to be able to tell there's much difference in the molding and the design. I like the bracing for the steering, and you are not really able to tell here, but this is the servo horn, and the servo horn is actually a steel servo horn. So you're getting a metal servo horn with this out of the box. There's no servo saver, and the reason why there's no servo saver is because this truck is awesome. No, I'm kidding. The reason is because this is actually a steel servo. So it's you get metal gears as well, not just metal, you get steel gears, so you get a metal steering horn. So if you want to do some cool drifts and just have a truck that handles out of the box for RTR, this should be pretty good. Now, are there better servos out there? Of course there are. But out of the box RTR, this is going to be amazing for an RTR. Again, RTR. The shocks, you may be able to tell here, but there's going to be bleeder holes, so you can actually really fine-tune the suspension on this. Again, it's an RTR, but that is very good for an RTR. And notice it has a little collar for the spring, so you can adjust the height here. Instead of using those clips that go in there, you actually get threaded shock bodies, which is great. Now, based on what I found, it appears that they are plastic, but maybe we'll be surprised once the real one come out. Once they actually come out to market, which will be soon, based on, again, the post by Team Associated. So en route now, mid-February, according to Team Associated. The differentials, both the front and the rear, are tunable, which is great. This is fabulous. One thing that I really like. Now, all of the bearings are metal bearings, so you will get metal bearings for everything. And here, as you can tell, just based on the look, it looks like they're going to be using the same fiber compound that they've used on many of their previous TCs. If you remember any of those, even a TC7, for example, they used this. I believe it was TC7. I could be wrong on that. But it's very light and very durable. Now, the motor mount is aluminum, so you do get an aluminum plate here, compared to, say, the Fortec, which you get a plastic mount. Not a big deal, but the aluminum does help dissipate heat. So that's something to consider. But here we go. So this is the rear, and in the rear you can see the bleeders in the shock caps. And the front shocks have them as well. The rear have them as well. And notice the shock tower. This is actually really nice. Based on this picture, it looks like it's very well machined. You have 3 screws that hold the shock tower, and they're holding on the differential case. Now, this differential case, I really want to get my hands on one of this car because I think this may actually be very easy to tune. I have a feeling it's just these 2 screws and then the screws in the front, and this will probably pop off and the differential will just pop out to service and tune. Now, I don't think these are going to have pills to adjust the caster on the arms, but no big deal. It's an RTR. I'm sure it'll be well tuned and fun for what its purpose is, which will be mad drifts, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see once it comes out. Now, you could replace the links with turnbuckles here on the suspension, which means that by doing so, this is the rear. So here's the receiver box. This is the rear. So with turnbuckles here in the rear instead of these, one would be able to adjust the toe in and toe out, which would be great. So I really can't wait to get my hands on one of these, just so I can maybe drift or do something else. I may actually get one, turn into a drifter just for fun. Yes, there are chassis that are meant for actual drifters, and you can spend however much money you want, right, free capitalist society. It's your money. Spend it however you like. But for the price point, this is very difficult to beat for price point. Again, it all depends on how much you want to spend. But here we go. So MSRP, we're going to ignore it. MSRP, we never really care about it. But MIP, this is the price they currently have on their website. Now, keep in mind, final price will be determined later on. As of now, I have not been able to find anybody that has these on back order online, unfortunately. But this would be the RTR kit without batteries and chargers, and this would be the kit with battery and charger. So if we look at some of the details, some of the things I already spoke about. Now, radio, I don't really care about it. I'm probably going to end up replacing it. But the stock radio that generally comes with associated RTRs is good enough. Not bad, but probably going to replace the receiver and then just use my regular transmitter. Now, let's see. So the main things, it is licensed by Ford. So you have officially licensed product, and then it's a licensed Hoonitruck, which is amazing. It's an amazing looking truck. You do get a brush servo, right? 3-pole. That's a 15 turn steel 25 teeth turbo. Sorry, servo horn, not turbo, servo horn. Water resistant enclosure, that's pretty standard now. Steel dog bones, well, that's great. I mean, most RTRs have dog bones. Well, it depends. I'm thinking touring cars, not on the other ones. Sealed front and rear differentials, so this is a big plus. This is very good. Well, adjustable strap, metal bearings, aluminum motor plate. I already mentioned that. So really, let's see, anything that I missed? No, I think that's it. I think I hit all the important points. Bolt-on steering plates. That's good. It is a 1/10 scale, so 1/10 scale, and it is 4-wheel drive. Now, just by looking at it, if it has a front and rear differential, it's going to be 4-wheel drive. But this is an RTR. Now, something that's pretty neat is, let's just say you want to save this and you want to use a different body. Well, use a 200 millimeter body. Go ahead. Now, do mind the length. Wheelbase is really the important. So that's the wheelbase, 259 millimeters or 10.2 inches. Now, weight says varies, of course. Associated usually doesn't advertise weights on many products. But again, all you need is batteries for the basic RTR. I would go with the basic RTR if you already have batteries. If you don't have batteries, you could consider this one over here, but if you spend just a little more, you can always get a much nicer battery and charger. That's something to consider. Now, parts and accessories, that's it. It's just these two items. I didn't see anything else. And then pictures and videos, I mean, you can go ahead and check them out. They are beautiful. Something else that I want to see how this thing handles, I want to see the tires because of the interesting tread pattern, and it also looks like it might be a softer compound compared to some RTRs, which are actually very hard rubber, especially for RTRs that are made for drifting. So I'm really curious how this one, what the driving characteristics are, if it's going to be able to drive about a track, maybe be a good vehicle for a spec race class, or possibly just a rookie getting out there and getting one's feet wet, or somebody with more experience just willing to mess around, or if it's better for drifting. That's what I'm curious. I'm curious about the setup and all of that. But as of now, I am very, very excited to announce the coming of the Apex2 with the Hoonitruck body. This, I've been waiting, to be honest, I've been waiting for a Team Associated TC, and finally, here it is. And it's not just a TC, it's a beautiful looking truck. The only thing, to be honest, that would be better is if it were nitro. But other than that, this thing looks amazing. Please comment below. What are your thoughts? if you see this video before the release or if you see the video after the release, what do you think? Do you have one? Do you drive one? Put in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this video was informative or at least entertaining. Please subscribe if you have not, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Oh, my hair! My car! My rod!